Date: February 22, 2026. Subject: the 15% tariff escalation, anniversary offensives, and hardening global fault lines. This intelligence brief synthesizes the latest data streams as of February 22, 2026. The global operating environment is currently defined by the rapid escalation of a US-led global trade war following a Supreme Court defeat, major kinetic escalations in Ukraine ahead of the war's 4-year anniversary, and intensifying regional brinkmanship in the Middle East and South Asia. 1. The economic quake, the tariff war escalates. A domestic legal rebuke in the United States has paradoxically escalated the global trade conflict. The Supreme Court reversal. The U.S. Supreme Court struck down President Donald Trump's sweeping global tariffs, ruling his use of emergency powers unconstitutional. The 15% retaliation. In direct defiance of the ruling, President Trump immediately announced a new 15% global tariff under a different legal mechanism, an increase from the initial 10% threat. Global paralysis and realignment. India immediately postponed a scheduled trip to the US meant to finalize a trade pact, citing the tariff ruling's uncertainty. Meanwhile, the European Union is grappling with the economic fallout, and Southeast Asian exporters are actively attempting to position themselves as net winners amid the US-China-Europe trade fracturing. 2. The war in Europe, the 4-year anniversary. As the 4th anniversary of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine approaches, both sides are launching strategic deep strikes while European unity wavers. Anniversary barrages. Russia launched a massive wave of ballistic and cruise missiles at Kyiv and energy infrastructure in Odessa and central Ukraine. Ukrainian deep strikes. Ukraine successfully struck the Votkinsk factory, a critical ballistic missile production plant located over 870 miles deep inside Russian territory. Sanctions evasion. A new intelligence report reveals that Hong Kong and mainland Chinese firms are actively funneling European-made military tech and electronics to Russia's war machine, exploiting glaring loopholes in international sanctions. European friction. Hungary is threatening to veto a critical €90 billion EU loan to Ukraine unless Russian oil flows resume. Concurrently, the UK is taking a more aggressive posture, with Defence Secretary John Healey pledging to make 2026 the year the war ends, raising the prospect of deploying non-combat troops. 3. The Middle East, capitulation versus annexation. Diplomatic efforts are running parallel to severe ideological and military posturing. US-Iran standoff. US envoy. Steve Witkoff publicly stated that President Trump is curious why Iran has not yet capitulated under the weight of the US military buildup. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian responded defiantly, asserting that Tehran will not bow down to US pressure in the ongoing nuclear talks. Israeli annexation. Israel is accelerating its creeping annexation of the West Bank. Compounding the tension, US Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee publicly endorsed Israeli expansion, suggesting he would not oppose Israel taking it all. This prompted a joint condemnation from Pakistan and 13 other nations. Lebanon strikes. Israel continues to strike deep into eastern Lebanon, targeting Hezbollah command centers in the Bekaa Valley. 4. US domestic and institutional upheaval. The Trump administration is executing rapid institutional shifts at home while dealing with the fallout of the Epstein scandal abroad. Government shutdown impact. The ongoing partial government shutdown has forced the Department of Homeland Security to suspend the TSA PreCheck and Global Entry airport security programs. The Royal Purge. Following the unprecedented arrest of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, formerly Prince Andrew, in connection to the Epstein files, the UK's Royal Palace indicated it will not oppose Prime Minister Keir Starmer's plan to officially remove the former prince from the line of succession. Intelligence and censorship. The CIA, under the Trump administration, pulled 19 intelligence reports, including analyses of white nationalism and LGBT+ issues, claiming they lacked political independence. Concurrently, Trump's envoy, Sarah Rogers, has openly attacked the EU's new tech regulations, sparking a transatlantic battle over online censorship. Greenland ambitions. Bypassing standard diplomatic channels, Trump announced he is sending a great hospital boat, likely the USNS Mercy, to Greenland, further straining relations with Denmark as he continues to push for American control of the strategic Arctic territory. WOO, Asia-Pacific Security Dynamics. Pakistan-Afghanistan border. Following a surge in deadly suicide bombings, Pakistan launched cross-border military strikes targeting terrorist camps, including TTP and ISKP affiliates, inside Afghanistan. Kabul reported dozens of civilian casualties, drastically escalating tensions. Japan's defense posture. Newly re-elected Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi is accelerating her divisive security goals. The US and Japan held an extended deterrence dialogue, specifically targeting China's destabilizing nuclear buildup. Taiwan Strait, the Chinese People's Liberation Army, PLA, went on high alert to shadow the Australian frigate HMAS Toowoomba as it transited the Taiwan Strait. Strategic forecast and implications. We have entered a highly volatile window where legal, economic, and military guardrails are being systematically dismantled. President Trump's immediate imposition of a 15% global tariff in defiance of the US Supreme Court signals a willingness to override institutional checks to execute his America First agenda. In the immediate term, global markets will experience severe whiplash as supply chains attempt to price in the new tariff regime. In the security domain, the combination of the Ukraine war anniversary, imminent deadlines in the Iran nuclear talks, and open territorial expansion in the Middle East creates a high probability of miscalculation. Nations are increasingly resorting to unilateral military action, for example Pakistan in Afghanistan, Ukraine in deep Russia, as traditional multilateral peacekeeping mechanisms break down.